I'm Tom Baker, this is Chasing Cars, and today I'm driving one of the most consequential new SUVs to launch in 2017. This is the Peugeot 3008, an all-new medium SUV that the French brand are hoping will promptly restart their fortunes here in Australia. For quite some time now, Peugeot and sister brand Citroën have been mismanaged down under, and sales have really suffered. But there's a new local distributor on board right in time to receive the very best that Peugeot have to offer in this new 3008, which is a car that will mainly square up against the Volkswagen Tiguan and the Mazda CX-5. Well, I think it looks great. It's distinctive in a segment that can be very, very samey. And things only get better inside, so let's jump in and take a look. Straight up, the Peugeot 3008 has the best interior in the medium SUV segment. It's obvious as soon as you get in and you take in this classy, modern, tiered design, and you feel the really upmarket materials like this attractive felt that lines the dash and the door inserts, and these lovely metal toggles for the major controls. It's extremely refreshing after driving lots of other medium SUVs this year that all feel like they've got the same interior. Peugeot have kept the lovely small steering wheel from the 308 hatch as well, and it now sits ahead of a 12-inch digital driver's display, and that's actually standard fit. That's very impressive when the same feature costs $2,000 or more in the Volkswagen Tiguan. There's also a standard 8-inch touchscreen here with navigation on every single car, and that links to a 6-speaker stereo. I just wish you could get the premium Focal stereo from the European market on the Australian 3008. You sit high but comfortably in this car, and this optional Nappa leather trim is extremely supple and it feels really expensive. The standard fabric and Alcantara combinations are fine, but I really would have liked to see leather as standard fit, at least on the high end of the 3008 range. However, the massaging feature that the driver's seat has with the Nappa pack feels great. The ergonomics in this car, I think, are pretty much spot on. The wheel falls right to hand, and storage is okay too. There are small cup holders here in the center. There's a really deep phone tray with one USB port, and the door bins are large enough for a water bottle. But what's it like here in the back? Well, it's not as spacious as something like a Tiguan with its back row pushed all the way back, but the 3008 with a fixed back seat is more than good enough. It's comfortable, it's nice and supple and soft, the material used back here, and for me at 6 foot, I've got enough headroom, even with this panoramic sunroof. I've got enough leg room, and I've got just enough toe room sitting behind myself. You've got a couple of amenities too. There's a fold-down armrest with two more very shallow cup holders, standard air vents across the range, and there's also a European-style power point located here between the seats, which is quite useful. At 591 litres, the 3008's boot is second only to the Tiguan in this segment, but in the VW you do have to push the back seats all the way forward to get that figure, something you don't have to do in the Peugeot. Well, that all sounds quite promising, but what's the 3008 like to drive? Well, as usual, I'll save my detailed thoughts for when I can get one back on my own roads soon, as the drive program on the car's national launch in the Hunter Valley has been fairly brief, but first impressions are good. So there's two engines offered, a 1.6 litre turbo petrol and a 2 litre turbo diesel. They both drive the front wheels only through a 6-speed torque converter automatic co-developed with Aisin. So Peugeot have chucked out their old robotised manuals in favour of a much more conventional auto, and that's been a good decision. This is actually one of the better autos in this segment in terms of how unobtrusive it is. So there's no all-wheel drive offered with the 3008. There is a feature called grip control, which you can option up, which effectively fiddles with the front differential to try and give you more grip, and it also comes with mud and snow tyres if you tick that. But really, I don't think it matters that this car's front-wheel drive only, because none of the cars in this segment are really designed to go particularly far off-road, and nobody does that. But in any case, Peugeot are developing an all-wheel drive capability in the form of an electric hybrid, which will stick an electric motor on the rear axle, and they're hoping that that will come out somewhere in early 2019. In terms of the engines, I think the only one you need to go for is the excellent petrol, which makes 121 kilowatts and 240 newton meters. It's relaxed, it's moderately punchy, and it's efficient enough. They claim 7 litres per 100 kilometres, we'll see. The diesel, which makes 133 kilowatts and 400 newton meters, actually only feels moderately stronger than this car, and it's limited only to the top spec GT model, which starts to get expensive. French cars are known for riding well, and the new 3008 is no exception, despite the fact that it has a torsion beam rear suspension. Most of the expensive cars in this segment have a multi-link or an independent rear, but the compliance over bumps is actually great, and it's quiet too. Plus, the quick steering from the 308 hatchback that this thing is based on has carried over, and it makes the 3008 a moderately entertaining steer as well, particularly because it's very light. It's only 1,371 kilos, this petrol model. Most of the cars it's up against weigh about 1,500 kilos, even up to 1,600 if you go for the all-wheel drive option that you can get on various competitors. Safety tech is a bit patchy. AEB isn't standard, I don't like that. In fact, even on the second tier model, AEB is optional, along with active cruise control, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, and the like in a safety pack. That safety pack becomes standard fitment on the GT line and GT models, however. So those are my first impressions of the new Peugeot 3008. Something our foreign viewers might not realise is that Peugeot Australia almost didn't survive. They've been bailed out, but they really need this car to hit a home run. And you know what? I think it has. Peugeot have gone right for Volkswagen Tiguan territory with this car, and they've come out marginally ahead. The 3008's interior is the finest in this class. It's relaxed and competent to drive, it's comfortable to ride in, and it looks right. If you could find weak spots for our market, it'd be the lack of all-wheel drive and the price, which is probably a touch too premium given Peugeot's current lack of buyer awareness. But that's really it. In every other way, the 3008 succeeds by exceeding class benchmarks. We'll confirm when we have them back in Sydney for extended testing, but for now, I think we might be looking at the best new medium SUV on sale today.